Okay, we're going to start with our exclusive right to sell listing agreement. It's already loaded into my loop, and you can see it along with a couple of other documents, but we'll start with the listing agreement. You click on that. You're going to put in the property address here. We'll call it 1230 Any Street. Oops. And let's make that Latham, New York, 12010. So for your seller, whoever's going to be on the deed, whoever's on the deed goes on the listing agreement. So in this case, it's Bob and Mary. Pretty simple, straightforward here. And whatever their current residence is. So let's say they live at the property they're selling. You ran out of space here, so we're going to do this. 12302. Let's see, 1230. Okay, so our broker's name goes in here under paragraph 1 in consideration of Keller Williams Capital District. You're going to move down to the price that you're going to price it for. So in this case, we're pricing it at $349,900, and we're going to be going from today's date, and we're going to go for 6 months on this one. So we'll go to January. Just to make it easier, I put it at the end of the month. Buys me a couple extra weeks on the listing. As we scroll down, we want to make sure that we assign this field to the seller. So this would go to the Bob Smith. This would go to Mary Smith. The owner authorizes the listing broker to submit all purchase offers. When you get down to the bottom, you're going to have another spot for them to initial, and then of course yours, which I could sign it now. Property. So if the owner decides to rent property during the term of this agreement, we're granted the exclusive right to rent, and they're going to pay a commission for the rental equal to 1 month's rent. And it's going to be due upon execution of the lease. The brokerage fee when due and payable. So if during the term of the agreement property is sold, owner agrees to pay the broker of, in this case, 7%. The protection period after the expiration date of this agreement during the 6 months after that, that's what I put, 6 months. For buyers agents and brokers, we offer 2.5% co-broke. And the same thing if they're not part of Carmel's, but they're entitled under the law to receive commission. So that's what the second part's about. And then when we get to the bottom, we have to make sure that the owner initials this disclosure about the 2 different types of agreements, listing agreements. And we're going to sign it here, and we're going to date it. Even though it's already dated there, we'll date it again. And that's the listing agreement. Now, if we go back to our loop, we can see the other documents in here. With a listing agreement, you're always going to want the New York State disclosure of agency. So you're going to have seller 1, seller 2. I'll take care of filling these guys in there. You guys all know what this looks like. You remember it from class: buyer's agent, seller's agent, dual agent, broker's agent. So on page 2, I'm going to put my name in here. And it's of Keller Williams Capital District. In this case, we're representing the seller. as a seller's agent. We're also asking for the seller to agree in advance to a dual agency with designated sales agents. And if that is to occur, I can use the same form. Obviously, I'll be staying with representing the seller, and the other agent from Keller Williams would be put in this space here at that time. So for right now, we just need it this way, and we would assign this to the sellers and have them sign it. And then with a listing agreement, we go back to the loop. If the property was built prior to 1978, then you would have them go ahead and at that time of the listing fill out one of these lead paint disclosure forms. You're going to get them to acknowledge either that they know of any lead paint or they don't know of any lead paint. And then you're also going to get them to acknowledge whether they have any reports or records relating to lead paint, or if they don't have any, they'll check this box. And then at the bottom, you're going to want to make sure that you initial that you've informed the seller of their obligations under the law to disclose any lead paint that they know of. And then, of course, they're going to sign and date it here, and you can sign and date it on your side. These are disclosures that we add at the time of the listing agreement. And other ones that you may, I would definitely recommend asking them to fill out a property condition disclosure statement. We don't have anything to do in terms of filling this out. I just wanted to have it on here so you could see it. Again, you probably have already seen this and know what it looks like. It's 4 pages with questions to the seller related to the property. They fill that out and give it back to you. It is our responsibility as licensees to disclose to the seller the law about the property condition disclosure statement. That form is here, and you can present this to the seller when you list their property, and you can ask them to sign this at the bottom, acknowledging that they have read this disclosure notice, and you've given them a copy of the property condition disclosure statement. This is really all you need. If they choose not to do a disclosure statement, that's fine. But we just want to make sure that we have proof and evidence that we told them about it. And then, of course, you have your data form. This helps when you're inputting your listing onto the MLS to have this handy with all the pertinent information about the property. You'll probably want the X. You'll probably want it all over the internet. These buttons here, if you do get this, will provide the address online as well. You're going to need to know your sub area, you know, your list price, your address. And the rest of this form is pretty self-explanatory. As you look at it, it asks information about your agent code, your name, your phone number, your office code. For any of you who don't have it, it's 205A. Your company name is Keller Williams Capital District. Again, this is pretty self-explanatory. You'll need the map coordinates, the school district, the Swiss code, and the tax ID. Those are found either on a copy of the seller's actual tax bills, or you can find them in RPR or whatever it is we're using now, MLS, for public records. You know, where you can go in and find out what the square footage is and all that sort of thing. You fill these out. If there's any in the basement you want to advertise, if there's any rooms on the first floor you want to advertise, etc. Make sure your taxes are accurate. If they're not accurate, make sure you put that they're estimated here with a letter E. We prefer to have them accurate, so make sure you either get copies of the tax bills or you call the taxing authority and ask them what the total taxes would be without any exemptions. That's the important one. All right. So for you folks that are newer, make sure you put what they are without any exemptions, and that helps the buyer and the buyer's lender when they go to qualify for that mortgage. Same thing on the second page. You're going to put your remarks in here at the top and answer the, fill this out as best you can. Sometimes it's helpful to have a copy of this printed and bring it to you with your listing appointment. You can fill it out while you're walking through. That's what I usually do. It makes it easier. And then I don't have to sit and try to think or look at pictures that I took while I was there to figure out if it has tile in the kitchen. All right, so that's it for the listing agreement. If you have any other questions, give me a call at 518-878-1756. And good luck.